Sometimes it hurts so badly I must cry out loud. I am lonely. I am yours. You are mine. You are what you are. You make it hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. My all-time fantasy was to be the stage guy, the guy that got to introduce them in 1969. It is GMO Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Hidden Valley Wild Horse Protection Fund. That's the cup, that's the cup. Little bamboo on it. Crosby, Stills, and Nash bringing us in, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, Stephen Stills, Judy Collins. Yeah. What a song, what a song, what a year. For music especially. Hey, crazy stuff going on, and all the usual suspects. Foothill Feed and Mercantile. Don't forget Foothill Feed and Mercantile, ladies and gentlemen. They got you covered for that organic feed, non-GMO feed for your critters, of course. And that's becoming a big thing. We're going to talk a little bit about how the chemical companies go at systematically ruining an individual's life for telling the truth, kind of like the political party we know about right now, huh? Think about it. I want you to think about it. We'll talk about it in just a minute here. Let's get to the Foothill. European Union, but Foothill Feed and Mercantile, 775-852-0999. They got him. Give Shannon a call up there. She'll get you squared away. If you can help out the Hidden Wild Horse Protection Fund, give her a call. They'll talk to you about it. Of course, the EPA's Jesse Rowland, victim of pecuniary greed. He bowed to the pressure of the dollar sign, the almighty green dollar sign, with the one eye in the triangle looking at ya. Some claim that's Illuminati. I don't know. I don't know nothing about all that. What I do know is Jesse Rowland thought he should get a medal for taking the money and lying. He should get a medal for taking the money and lying. He should get a medal with a pin on it about that big so he can stick it right there on his chest, huh? Just saying. The European Union News is reporting. Are you ready for this? You're sitting down. Please sit down, because this is just going to floor you. Test Biotech claims there is clear evidence that Dow Chemical and Bayer, manipulated the data on risk on the new soybeans. Go figure. Are you kidding me? Stop. They manipulated the data? Before we go any further, let's talk about the soybean that they manipulated the data on. Think about this for a minute. 2,4-D. If you're my age, you know that we put a little dioxin in there, and ooh, we get Agent Orange. Yeah. And then we have glyphosate, and we have dicamba. Those are the three major chemicals that are being used right now for GMO crops. They got a soybean that resists them all. Now, if I'm not mistaken, weren't we going to use less herbicide and pesticide with these GMO crops? Not 3 times the amount of just one, but 3 of them. Not just one, but 3 of them. Hello? How can anybody with the Scotia, half a pea, a half a grunion of a pea, a kernel of sand, how could anybody with a minute microscopic kernel of sand for common sense buy into this? Pecuniary greed. Pecuniary greed at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. What they did was they tested these soybeans with a fraction of the amount of one chemical that they're using and not the other two, and then submitted this data as fact. Golly gee whiz. Huh. Unbelievable. 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 I guess you would call that irony. Irony? Have you got your daily dose of irony yet? Have you? Get over to skinnyandsingle.com. She will give you irony, and I'm telling you, her smile's worth a look. Go over there and check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Also, in the description this week, the Farm Business Network. You will have to email me if you want a copy of this, but there's a PDF, and I can send you, I'll forward it over to you. It's called the Seed Playbook, and what it does is it tells you how to rotate crops and all this kind of stuff. If you're into the sustainable agriculture, I'll put the link in the description also for Farm Business Network. Great website, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of great websites, the good F word. Go over and see that girl, man. She got some good stuff over there. Good stuff. And of course, Robin McCall, I got a link in there. A link for Robin McCall lawsuits. Just go check it out. If you're concerned that you have a health issue, and let me just say this. When I broke my back, I asked my doctor, I asked my neurosurgeon, what I did was I got the chemical compound, that little, they have all those hexagons with the lines in between them, and then there's a little couple letters in each one. Well, I take that glyphosate thing, and I take it to him on one of my visits, and I ask him, I say, hey, what is this? I go, would that hurt my nervous system or anything? You know, if that was on my food or something like that? He goes, oh, no, that's a carcinogen. He looked it up in his book, put the things on there. He goes, it's a carcinogen. I want you to think about that for a minute. He looked the chemical up. Whom do your elected officials represent? And we're going to talk about that before I get out of here today in Cannabis Corner. Whom do your elected officials represent, ladies and gentlemen? Are they like Debbie, let me stab my constituents in the back, stabbing now? Are they like Debbie, stabbing now? Take the money and run? Lie to their constituents? Lie to their constituents and say, hey, I don't care that 90% of my constituents want a proper food labeling bill. We want a law on food labeling. I don't care. Monsanto gave me money. I'm going to do their bidding. Follow the money, ladies and gentlemen. This is an election time. Congress is getting ready to flip. How many of them people have money from an organization you don't like? Follow the money. I'm telling you right now, follow the money. Who donates to their campaigns? You want campaign finance reform? This is what you do. If you're not a registered voter, and I'm going to use the state of Nevada, Dean Heller's up for election this year. If you're not a registered voter in Nevada, why are you donating to Dean Heller's campaign? You should not be allowed to donate to his campaign. There's campaign finance reform. You must be a registered voter to donate to a campaign. Period. That's reform. Corporations can't vote. You can't do it. Period. And you can't come live in my state today to vote next week. Doesn't work that way. Campaign finance reform. I want everybody to stop and think for just a minute. Somebody spent over $1 billion on an election campaign and lost. And those same people are crying for money. It's getting grim. The emails are just obnoxiously perverse. Okay? Why would somebody spend over $1 billion to get a job that pays $350,000? Somebody wants to do something. Somebody wants to do something. It's that simple. Is your chicken natural? Does it got antibiotics in it? If it says natural, there's a chance it's been fed GMO food, antibiotics, and we just let it run on the back 40, so we call it natural. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Kiss the ground. You know me, I'm a dirt guy. I'm a dirt guy. I'm a dirt farmer. What goes in the dirt, it goes right on the table. Right on the table. Yes, it does. Kisstheground.com. Check out the website, ladies and gentlemen. You need soil information. You need to understand how the dirt works. That's what I do. I create dirt mixtures for the plants. And I don't use chemicals. We'll get to that in Cannabis Corner because there's a big deal going on. We have another case. Now, and this involves Syngenta, and this has gone on for the last 10 years. This is a chemical company, and I'm going to talk in a little length on this today, a little more detail here. Atrazine, we all know, we've all heard it. We've all heard it. I want you guys to think about something for just a minute. All of a sudden, we have all these people confused about their gender identity. What does atrazine do in humans, in animals? It makes males a little effeminate. Small testes, penis size is shrunk. And this is not just human beings, this is animals too. Hormone differences and imbalances and different, but it basically, in every single test that is credible, if you will, credible tests, every single test that was not sponsored by Syngenta, the creator of atrazine, comes up with some kind of malfunction, some kind of deformity, whether it be a birth defect, an adolescent defect, something in the sexual reproduction system. And if it is making, they actually saw in the animal kingdom frogs that were males turn to female. So if this is going on, maybe that's what all this gender identity issue is with, oh, I'm a transgender. Maybe the chemical companies knew about it and they started laying the groundwork for this, because if we get everybody confused about their gender, we won't know that atrazine is the cause of it. Just saying, I'm just kind of hypothesizing here. And if you guys think I'm crazy and a conspiracy theorist, then answer me this riddle. What did the guy on Batman say? Riddle me this, Batman. You ready for this? 7 Monsanto employees looking at my professional profiles throughout social media. 3 unidentified people looked at my profiles that are in the chemical industry. This is all in the past 2 weeks. As somebody said to me last week, your numbers are climbing, climbing, climbing. You got to be saying the right thing. You got to be pissing somebody off. Ooh. I like pissing them off. I like bringing good information that really annoys somebody, because that means, you know what it means. I don't got to explain it. You guys are smart enough for that. But Tyrone Hayes, this is a guy that busted his butt, very gifted individual, very bright. He had a great mind. He still does, for that matter. But they did all this personal psychological stuff on him and started attacking him in different manners, different ways. Think about it for just a minute. His character, they played on his insecurities. They did psychological profiles on this man. Who else does that? Just think about it. Who else does that? And I'm not talking Monsanto and Bayer and Dow. I'm talking, get outside the chemical industry for just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Who else does that? They attack credibility. They attack your science. They attack your education level. They attack everything about you to discredit you for speaking the truth. This is where I say common sense comes into play. When you start seeing some of these people attack, when somebody has presented fact, you can't tell me they're not being paid in these social media threads. You can't tell me people like Stephen Savage spew the drivel that he does for free. Nobody does it for free. Neither does Kavin Synapathy. She does not do it for free, no matter what she says. I've called her a liar numerous times, and she blocked me. Blocked me. Badge of honor, ladies and gentlemen, badge of honor. Speaking of a badge of honor. Paula Mayer. Paula's Healthy Living. Paula's Healthy Living. You get over there and look at that pretty smile. Fellas, you're done. You are done. You are done. MDG Blogger, ladies and gentlemen. MDG Blogger. Cannabis Corner. MDG Blogger. Organic for Greens Living. Organic for Green Livings. Pardon me. organicforgreenlivings.com. Get over there and check her website out. MDG Blogger, Marla Dawn Gates. Hey, I want to talk this week. Let's talk, because a lot of stuff has happened in the last couple of weeks here. Legal in California. Legal in California. We can smoke on the street corner now. Not a big deal no more. You got over an ounce, you're going to get spanked a little bit. But there's a reason, especially now, more than ever, I want everybody to stop. Take this deep breath. 28 states, medical. 6 say go ahead and burn it. We don't care. Get your bong out, have a good time, leave us alone. We don't care. Do we go to the store and buy it where it's federally regulated, where it's taxed, it puts something back into the communities? Or do we go to the guy down on the street corner and buy the bogus stuff? 5 banned pesticides and herbicides have been found in medical marijuana. Poison. Those people need to be shut down, never be allowed to do anything in the industry again. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. You know you have a banned chemical. Years ago, I got an illegal marijuana grow as a property to clean up, and it had, I don't even remember the name of the chemical now, but there were like 87 gallons of this stuff on a shelf. I write the chemical down. I get a hold of Department of Agriculture. Nevada Department of Agriculture said that was banned years ago, like back in 1966. I'm like, huh? I explained to them where it is, what I'm doing and everything. It became a hazmat situation. They wanted it right now, and I said, I can't touch it, and this is why. And I show them everything. So, okay, keep us posted. We bid the job, but I had to involve H2O, an environmental hazardous waste removal company. It was the law. That was the law. So I bid the job. They don't like the bid. They hire somebody who's going to cheat. And as soon as they said no, I knew what was going on. I set somebody on the property. When they rolled up to start cleaning the property up, I made a call to the Department of Agriculture, told them to go to the property. That was all I said. Hey, remember that deal I showed you all those pictures and everything at this address? Yeah. They're cleaning it up right now. You need to go over there and get that stuff out of there if you could do it. Okay, we'll send somebody over right away. They lost their business license, and well, they should have. They're cheating. They're cheating, and that you can't do. I'm sorry. This kind of stuff, we're dealing with people's health here. And I'm sorry, but you guys all know that there's an issue, a difference of what happened here in this ordeal that I was doing for the Wainema Ranch. I would still not try to poison them. I'm still not going to give them something that's stupid. That's crazy. I'm definitely not going to do it for money. That's disgusting. Probosciating is, I mean, it just kind of makes you throw up in your mouth when you start thinking about people taking money, knowing that they're doing something wrong and they're poisoning you. Knowing. And make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, these chemical companies have the brightest scientific minds on the planet. Pecuniary greed. Pecuniary greed. Some of the symptoms that people taking this, get a load of this. Weight loss. You're smoking marijuana and you're losing weight. Some good weed, huh? Knocking you out so you don't eat for days? No. No. A blistered rash. They get the rash with all these blisters all over them. They would get headaches. And then, of course, because you're smoking this stuff, you're inhaling it, they started getting respiratory ailments. when they started finding out they're starting to test for chemicals that aren't even supposed to be used in agriculture, what do you got going on? Yeah, unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Now, what I'd like to do, what I'd like to talk about today, I think it's very important. We're getting ready to move into a new year. Again, whom do your elected officials represent? Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving into a new era with marijuana. It's very important that you understand how and why marijuana became illegal and how it became a Schedule I drug. This is something that I have talked about before. I remember, and while we're talking chemicals, back in the 70s, people started growing marijuana all the time for a specific reason. Paraquat pot. Oh, Tricky Dicky. Tricky Dicky, he had him go down there spraying the pot fields with paraquat. Yeah. Not thinking that the Mexicans would harvest that stuff and dry it real quick before it could die and then sell it to us anyway. Yeah, old Tricky Dicky, he was a character. He was a character. But he also made marijuana Schedule I. Why? He hated John Lennon. He didn't want John Lennon to get citizenship. What did John Lennon do? He openly smoked and advocated for marijuana. Schedule I narcotic. What is a Schedule I narcotic? Heroin. Opium. All that stuff. Schedule I narcotics. How did marijuana get in there? How does, oh, and by the way, they're talking that hallucinogens like mushrooms, that is classified, marijuana is classified as a hallucinogen. Now, I've never tripped on marijuana like hallucinogens that I've experienced. I'm a mushroom person. I'm not an LSD person. But they're saying the hallucinogen stuff might have medical therapeutic values, like in for depression, different types of autism and stuff. So that is yet to be seen. We'll have to see what. Don't quote me on the autism. I might have misspoke there, but I do remember depression in there because a friend of mine suffers from that, and I sent the article over. But the reality is this: when you look at how marijuana became illegal, another scam by the chemical companies. What was marijuana in competition with at that time? Medicine. What else was in play at that time? Patents on wood pulp paper, nylon rope. What were those products being made out of? Hemp, a cannabis family, plant in the cannabis family, hemp. And hemp, I'm telling you, hemp was an agriculture crop for millions of years. The people that sailed with Columbus, that's what the sails were made out of, hemp fibers. Rope, hemp fibers. And it's actually stronger and better than nylon. So doesn't melt, doesn't smell funny, doesn't pollute the dirt. It'll compose back into the dirt, compost. But mannitol, a synthetic THC at the time, marijuana is being used, and of course THC is the active ingredient in marijuana. So you get DuPont, William Randolph Hearst. Of course, William Randolph Hearst, notorious yellow Godfather. That's his moniker, the Godfather of yellow journalism. He was quoted. He was quoted. I've got a newspaper. Give me a headline. I'll give you a war. He didn't need facts. He didn't care about facts. I got to make money. Let's lie to the people. How did they lie to the people? What did they do? They played on everybody's fears about not knowing. They basically brainwashed the country, our Congress, our elected officials there to represent us, not the chemical companies. And they told us, marijuana's got to be made illegal because them black jazz cats, they're going to smoke it out behind the barn to come get your white women. That was what they said. I mean, look at the posters. Look at the Reefer Madness poster. It'll have a black guy smoking the joint, the smoke going all over, and the little white girl going like this. That's how they did it. They lied. They didn't fabricate, they lied. They flat out lied. And they played on the passions of what was going on in society at the time. And look at what they're doing now today, ladies and gentlemen. They're lying. They bastardize our science. They have completely gone after people and ruined their careers to sell a chemical. To sell a chemical. And who allows them to do this? How do they do this? They lobby our elected officials. They get in their pocket, they get in their mind, they do whatever, and they lobby our elected officials. Stanford, Cornell, Purdue, the list goes on. The Florida, the guy down in Florida, Folta. All these people. They've polluted, they've ruined academia science. I have interviewed employees of academic institutions, and they're scared to death to go on the record with the truth because of what these organizations will do to the school financially and to them personally with their credibility. They're terrified. Is that how we want to live? Is that the kind of, I mean, and I'm not saying that they're bad people. But Alex Jones broke down, and my gut feeling when Alex Jones broke down, they got to his children. They sent a photograph to Alex Jones of his children. He got on his little thing and started crying to everybody. Something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. Something to think about. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to read you something from an email I got this week about marijuana and how it helped an individual with various ailments that nothing else helped. That nothing else helped. Dooby-dooby-doo, ba-da-da-da-bum-bum, ba-da-da-da-dump. I don't know. Maybe I won't, man. This thing's got to update a little bit. Got things circulating today. But I'm also going to put a link in there about the 10 brain and hormonal effects that marijuana might have on your system. When I read the article, I said, no. I got to think of it, well, wait a minute. Just because it doesn't do that to me doesn't mean it doesn't do that to somebody else. We all act different under the influence of any kind of drug or mind-altering, whatever you want to call it. And let's make no mistake, you burn a little reefer for what? It mellows you out. You get a brownie, you get a cookie. Yeah, I don't know. Just don't go drive. Learn to bake bread. Learn, but don't be driving. Don't be driving. But let me read you a section of this. I took MJ for about 6 months before it was legal through a contact from Colorado and the pharmacies. This person's in the Keystone State. And he did it because he had cancer. Her friend did this marijuana thing because she had, the friend had cancer and it relieves the pain. We all know the pain deal. But every chemical on the planet has not helped this gal's seizures. It has not helped the chronic pain she experiences. So for 6 months, she does this thing because she has a person that shares what he's doing. She's not really doing nothing. I mean, maybe technically, I don't know. But Pennsylvania, one of the states, they've already legalized and it's not going to go into play. I guess back in 2016, they voted legalize medical marijuana, and now it's going to go into, I guess next year, it'll go into effect and be okay for them. But for 6 months, she does, I think it's called a CBD oil, a cannabinoid oil, and a capsule. Seizures start going away. No problem. The chronic pain is livable. She can start moving around a little bit. And then this thing comes in and says, hey, if you get caught doing this, you'll never be able to participate in the program again. And this is where I say, whom do your elected officials represent? think about this. When you go to the polls and vote, you need to start asking questions. If you vote, hey, I'm getting ready to do interviews. This is on the ticket. So is the thing about splitting California in 2 states. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the ticket on my interviews. But start asking the right questions is what I'm saying. Why is the medical end of it illegal? Listen, Donald Trump, he said at the debates when they brought this up, and he goes, well, I don't know. He goes, but the medical thing, I'm not, the medical, not so much. But just to say, okay, everybody go out and sit on a corner, he goes, no, I'm not in favor of that. But the medical end, he has an interest in it, whether, I don't know, I don't care what his interest is, but what I do care about is this. There's absolutely no reason that all 50 states do not allow some form of the medical aspect of this, especially for different things when everything else on the planet is not working. And why is it not legal? Who's lobbying your elected official? Whom do your elected officials represent? It's just that simple. Whom do your elected officials represent? Let me say it one more time. Whom do your elected officials represent? Do they represent you and your interests? Are they in Washington, D.C. for the pecuniary greed factor, the graft and corruption that goes on? We all know the chemical companies have invaded the FDA, the USDA, and the EPA. We all know it. We all know it. Speaking of knowing it, over the weekend, since the last podcast, I picked up another 20-some followers on Twitter. We're all asking, Mr. President, Mrs. President, Mr. Proet, Mr. FDA, Mr. Sonny Perdue, please get the poison out of our food. It don't belong there. And I'm asking you, join me. I've kind of started a new angle now. I've started a new angle. When I see a GMO article, when I see something on the thing, I'm asking whoever that tweet is, I am retweeting with this. Please ask your followers, and you join me every day asking, Mr. President, Mrs. President, Mr. Proet at the EPA, the FDA, and Mr. Sonny Perdue, Mr. Secretary Sonny Perdue of the USDA, please get the poison out of our food. And I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, what is going to happen if 10,000 people start retweeting that every day? Tomorrow, 20,000 people will be retweeting that. And the day after that, it'll be 50,000, 100,000, and on it will go. All you got to do is join in. All you got to do is come say, hey, follow me, I'll follow you, and we'll ask them together. We will ask them together. That is how we're going to do it. That is how we're going to do it. And I'm going to say one more time, whom do your elected officials represent? And remember, the cannabinoid oil or the CBD oil, they have 2 kinds. They have hemp and they have the marijuana. The hemp doesn't work for some people. It does for others. So it's something that we need to look at. And I think a lot more attention needs to be raised on this issue, because the reality is, if you set up a sustainable agriculture program to produce medical marijuana, hello, I'm available for whatever you might need. I can help. But if you set this up in a sustainable agriculture, organically produced, I'm going to give you, I got a funny story to tell you, okay? Years ago, when I was in the Bay Area, I bred tropical fish. Paraquat pot came out. Nobody wanted to smoke paraquat. Everybody was scared to death. Everybody started growing weed. This is when we got Sinsemilla and indica going on, these different strains of weed that we all have now. This is how it happened. We started growing it here, and we go, hey, wait a minute, this is a different, I had a 42-inch arowana. It used to eat rats, okay? One night, the light burned out in the tank. He jumped out of the tank. I wake up, he's in a ball in the morning on the floor. Well, I can't waste my arowana. I just can't waste them. For those of you who don't know what an arowana is, it's a prehistoric fish down in the Amazon. It comes out of the Amazon River. Its head goes like this, and there's a little line across, and then it's the bottom of the fish goes like this, and it rounds off, right? Well, this is its mouth that opens huge. 6 feet, up to 6 feet in length in the rivers, and they've actually, they've eaten children that fall in the river. They eat anything that falls in the river. I've seen pictures of like a bird coming down, boom, disappears. It's an arowana eating this bird. I mean, big birds, you know. But I took the arowana, put it in a plant. We called it arowana marijuana. And at that time, nobody really knew what they were doing with marijuana. And people would come, hey, you got any weed? Can you give me a bag of weed? I said, well, I got a little homegrown. Oh, I don't want homegrown, man. No, I don't want no homegrown. Oh, here. Well, would you like a bong hit before you take off? Wow, dude, man. I go, hey, go get me a beer, man. They'd get up and they'd fall down. They'd say, wow, is there any of this available? No. Wow, where'd you get this? It's my homegrown. Oh, I want... No, you don't. You don't want my homegrown. You don't like homegrown, remember? One of the best plants I ever grew was with the fish. With the fish, and I used fish emulsions to water. Best plant I ever grew. One of the toughest things, a sustainable agriculture program, ladies and gentlemen. In organically produced marijuana, it is the coming thing. 5 banned chemicals they have found. They have tested, and they have found. So it's something to be cognizant of. And again, whom do your elected officials represent? Ladies and gentlemen, start asking this question. Start seeing about the medical aspect of it. The president is on board with the medical aspect and the medical element of it. So I do not understand why people that are the face of this industry want to beat that up. Why aren't they coming about in a little more professional way, if you will? Why do you want to fight an administration on something when you already know, unless you didn't pay attention, this president don't have an issue with the medical end of it. He's already said that. He said it in the debates. I heard him say it 3 times. You know, the medical aspect, I'm not against that. I'm not, just saying, okay, green lighting everybody to go burn. Yeah, maybe that's not a good idea. Whether it is or not, that's your decision to make. But the medical element, I think, is where everybody is missing the boat. We got a president right now that is receptive to that element of this industry. Why aren't we trying to present him with a way to say, okay, hey, look, all the states should do a medical aspect of it for your patients. All states should have some form of dispensary where they can pick up medical marijuana. Call it what you want. It's weed. I don't care. You can put whatever title on it you want. But if we're going to use it as medicine, which it was used before 1942, it was used as medicine. Find out. Do yourself a favor and really look at the politics of pot. You're going to come to an understanding that, hey, you know what? This was legal at one time. It wasn't that bad. It was made illegal for pecuniary greed. And now we have people lobbying to keep it illegal for pecuniary greed. And we have people accepting the money. Look, those people in Washington that get money from these companies and corporations, that's called graft. And I got to ask Mr. Jeff Sessions, why ain't you beating these people up for this stuff? Our attorney generals aren't. We're not making these people do their job, ladies and gentlemen. We got to make them do their job. We got to make them do their job. Whom do your elected officials represent? If you like what you hear, ladies and gentlemen, give us a thumbs up. They're kind of groovy to get. They really are. Subscribe to the station. It helps if you can donate. Thanks to everybody kept the lights on this last week. We got another week going. Hey, if you can help us out, keep the lights on. Help us out, ladies and gentlemen. MDGblogger.com. MDG Blogger. She can be found on Twitter. She can be found at organicforgreenlivings.com. And of course, Paula Mayer. Before I get out of here, we're going to be talking. I gotta promote the interviews again. Jasmina Saavedra, she's running for state senate. United States Senate, and also Stacey Barth for governor. Stacey Barth for governor on the Republican ticket. United States Air Force. So be sure you tune in for those. If you got questions, send us some questions. If you want to do some advertising, get a hold of me. We can always work that out. Tune in. We got some big stuff coming up on Preservation Thursday this week. A lot. Again, the Business 101. We're going to be turning. We're going to be talking a little bit more about agent contracts. I got a couple more questions that came in this week about the 501c3 stuff and how to. This was a very backdoor question that I was asked. Do 501c3s have employees? Well, of course they do. Of course they do. And we're going to talk about that on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. We will talk about that on Thursday. One of the other things, Sheena Alexandra, down in, they have a lot of things going on, and they might tie into a couple. They have an immigration problem down there, just like we do in the United States. But the thing that they're not doing, they're keeping them on an island. They want us to take them. But I want to talk with Sheena about the GMO issue down there because they don't allow the stuff in the country. They won't do it. We have all these countries around the world. Where are you located? The European Union don't want this. They're fighting it right now. And you tip of the hat to test biotech because they've gone out on the limb and put themselves at risk of being attacked and discredited and all kinds of stuff. But they're saying, hey, you accepted tainted, manipulated data. Where else is that happening, ladies and gentlemen? I just stop and think about it. Use a little common sense. A little common sense. That's all you got to do. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up. If you can donate, hit the website, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the station. You want to do a little advertising, give me a holler. We'll talk about that too. Hey, as always, have a great day, and let's all be safe out there, huh?